Hey, what's up? Ian here, and I'm back with another review video, and this time I'd like to talk about this CVJ KAEI KUMO. I already unboxed this, so if you guys want to watch that video, do check out the link somewhere up here. But in this video, I'm just going to focus on my sound impression and my review of this KUMO. Just a quick recap before I begin. This is a 16 balanced armature IM, 8 on each side, and it comes with tuning switches as well. And the retail price for this is $199 US. It's available on Hi-Fi Go's website, so if you guys are interested to find out more, do check out the unaffiliated link in the description below. Alright, so let's first talk about the accessories. The cable, I like the cable very much. It's nice and soft, very easy to manage. It color matches to the IM itself, and overall the ear hooks are very nice and soft. Okay, it's got an interchangeable termination. You can either choose 2.5 or 4.4 or 3.5. okay, so I like the cable very much. Ear tips, I would say it's okay, it's average. Alright, there are two types of ear tips. You have your wide bore and you have your normal bore. Both are fine, right? I have no complaints about them, but they are not outstanding, or there's nothing special about it. So ear tips are ear tips for this type, yeah. And overall, that's the accessories. I would say, well, the outstanding item that I like is the cable. I like the cable very much. Right, now let's talk about the IM itself. IM is also outstanding. It's unique. Alright, it's got a very huge shell, okay, and it's got a very unique faceplate with like a Megatron type of design. The entire shell is made of metal, okay, and the nozzle is very big. There's another unique stuff about this, is a very wide nozzle, okay. The tuning switch is up here, and overall this shell is huge, it's big, and it's a very prominent shell. When you put this in your ear, you can see this shell from far. Okay, so that's earphones itself. Let's talk about my fit and comfort. Fortunately, it does fit my ear pretty well. Okay, it does jut out a little bit, but the nozzle length is pretty okay. It doesn't insert too deep. At the same time, the back part of this inner shell rests on the inner side of my ear, so it's pretty okay in terms of comfort, and it's a normal IM shape, so it doesn't give me on any pain or discomfort. It's not heavy as well, so it does not give me any weight or any heft to my ears, so it's very comfortable and light, and I can wear this the entire day. Okay, so very comfortable earphones. Seal wise, I would say it's average for this stock ear tips. So sometimes I use my own ear tips for this IM. So yeah, just for seal. Alright, so let's now talk about sound. First, let's talk about the drivability for this IM, and these are pretty easy to drive. I've used it at about comfortable level of 40% volume level, so yeah, it's okay. No problems driving this. I've used it with my iPad, iPhone, dongles and dabs, so no problems using this. Most of the sources will be able to drive this. Next, let's talk about gear matching, and this is pretty odd tuning, okay, and odd timbre as well. So I would say neutral sounding would do best, right? It'll bring out the nuances of this earphone. So yeah, things like M15 from M15S from Fio, or the Crystal M15S, or the Shangling M0 Pro. These will sound really good on those saws, okay. Warm sounding ones may also sound pretty good on this. It's just that this one sounds a bit odd in terms of the timbre, and then the warmness will bring that odd timbre out a little bit more. So yeah, I don't really recommend for that. So that's for gear matching. Now let's talk about tone and timbre. Now the tone and timbre for this is a little bit odd, right? As I mentioned, you've got that textured sound, that textured note to it. Note weight is a little bit well, not too heavy, not too light, but then again, it sounds a little bit warm, a little bit lean as well, so a bit odd in terms of the tonal balance of this IM. Okay, now let's talk about technicalities. Now this is where this IM shines. It's got a very good technical performance. The overall soundstage is very nice. It's got good spacious layout, and the soundscape is very nice as well. Sometimes the sound comes from the back, sometimes it comes from the front, from the side. It's got good height. Sound separation is fantastic. Imaging is also very good. I can identify where my instruments are, and the detail retrieval on this is just fantastic. I can pick up a lot of nuances on this IM, and the overall resolution of this IM is very good. It's a very resolving IM for $200 US, right? So now let's talk about the sound signature. Let me bring up my graph. Alright, so this is the graph of the CVJ KUMO. As I mentioned, this is a odd tuning. To me, this is odd. Again, it may be a niche tuning. For some, you may like it. I think a lot of people will like this tuning, and I'll explain why later, but let me go through the graph. The overall tuning for this is, I would say, neutralish to a little bit of a U-shape type of tuning. The treble is more elevated than the bass. Depends on the tuning switches, of course, but what I'm going through now is the basic, whereby all the tuning switches are off. Okay, and the bass is below the Harman target, as you can see, in terms of the sub bass, right? So it's not a very bassy IM, so this will make this IM a bit leaner in sound. It's not as textured as other IMs, and it's not as boomy or as bass heavy IM as compared to other IMs. So yeah, I would say this is neutral sounding, I would say, with a very dark treble. Okay, the bass is pretty extended in terms of the sub bass is pretty extended, and it's a very low profile type of bass shelf with a bit of texture, a bit of warmth to it as well. Now the mid bass is impactful, right? This is a pretty good mid bass. It's not it's not the most impactful, but it's quite prominent in the mix itself. So yeah, but the good thing about this is that it's not a very impeding type of mid bass. Now in terms of the mids, instruments, they shine, right? Instruments, they have very good clarity on this IM, and I like listening to my instruments on this, especially violins and trumpets. They sound really good on this, but the only thing is that trumpets, they sound a little bit blunted, I would say, violins as well, and it's because of the treble. But in terms of clarity and the presence of the instruments, they're pretty good for this. Vocals, okay, now male vocals, they sound a little bit underwhelming. The presence of the male vocals is okay, I would say. The tonal balance of it is okay as well, not a very authoritative presence. Female vocals also, they sound, I mean, they have a little bit of that energy there, a bit of that oomph there at the beginning, but they sound a little bit blunted as well, a bit dull, I would say. And overall, yeah, female vocals and male vocals, they are okay, not the best sounding in terms of the presence of vocals on this IM. Next, let's talk about treble. Treble, the gain to the treble is, there's a weird bump here, right? But that gives the energy to the treble, right? The energy comes back in, and also gives you a bit more bite, especially the trumpets. When it comes in, it gives you that presence there, that bite there, but after that it plateaus off and it becomes dark, right? Treble becomes dark. It's not as forward. At the same time, it's not the brightest, all right? Definitely not the brightest, and not as sparkly as other IM, right? It's a very laid back type of treble. So in terms of treble, I would say those who are sensitive to treble, those sharpness, you definitely like this IM. There's no sibilance, there's no shoutiness, there's no overall harshness to the treble. So a very smooth treble, I would say. And yeah, but for those of you who are treble heads, then you definitely won't appreciate this treble. Okay, for me, I'm quite versatile. Okay, I do listen to on both ends, but I do prefer a brighter treble, right? This is not really my kind of treble. I would prefer something that's more present, more bitey, not harsh, of course, and not sibilant, of course. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. Sometimes it depends on your listening preference and also your listening session as well, depending on what mood you are in, what situation you are in when you're listening to your music. Okay, so that's the overall sound signature of this CVJ KUMO. I would say overall, right, this is a very unique tuning, all right, and it suits people who are sensitive to treble, I would say. And in terms of genre, well, it's got tuning switches here, so you can listen to a lot of genre, but I wouldn't recommend vocals. Vocals, they sound a little bit underwhelming for me, and bassy songs as well, like trance, techno, they don't have, unless you turn on the tuning switches, then it will sound a bit more engaging. right, in terms of the low end. But for me, instrument sounds really good on this, classical sounds really good on this, and overall a very analytical listening experience for me, a very clinical listening experience for me. So yeah, I would say, yeah, this is a pretty technical set of IEM and pretty tuned to the niche of those who are sensitive to treble. Okay, right, so that's my overall review for this. I would like to give this IEM a 3 stars out of 5 stars for my rating, and I would say, yeah, for $199 US, I would say it's a very technical IEM, very good IEM in terms of technical performance, but in terms of tuning, it's a pretty unique tuning which is targeted at a certain crowd of people. Okay, and that's it for my review for this CVJ KUMO. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I hope you guys have a great day ahead, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.